Hi everyone, Katie from Moon Design Lab here. This week I decided that I was going to share my story of how I left my corporate job as a chemist, transitioned to a freelancer, and then started my own web design business. This week I kind of felt like maybe everyone needs a bit more encouragement to follow their path. So that's why I'm going to share my story and how I started living a life that was more aligned with what I wanted out of life. So let's get started. So I got my bachelor's degree in chemistry from Bowling Green State University, and I graduated in 2014. After that, I got my first job as a chemist working in the electrochemical field. And at this particular company, I worked in like a customer support role for different companies and analyzing the products that they had in the field, and then also in the research group. Something that was really difficult for me when I was working in the industry was I had barely any vacation, like 2 weeks, and I love to travel. I'm also very introverted. So being around people and being in the office made me extremely tired. I was very tired being there, so I'd get there very early so I could not be around people. Limit my time around people. And as time progressed, I couldn't really see how, as a chemist, I could have more time for myself and increase the amount of time that I could travel, since that was highly important to me. And just like being out in nature and backpacking. So I was really looking for a way that I could create my own schedule and work with who I wanted to work with. Meaningful work is highly important to me. So I felt like most of the time I wasn't particularly doing meaningful work, just doing like stuff that someone else had assigned for me that my heart wasn't fully in. And I have a really hard time if I'm not fully into something. I like to be all in and have good reasons for doing something. So, as time went on there, I started thinking about like, what could I do? Like, what kind of changes could I do that could help me go along the path or head on the path that I wanted, that would better suit me and my goals and what I wanted out of life. So about 2 years ago now, I decided to enroll in a coding boot camp. So I'm like, all right, programming, I was always interested in it. I was interested in it in college, but I did not have the time to study it. And I decided, that could be an avenue. There's lots of remote jobs with programming. I think like my analytical side and problem solving side would come in handy with programming. So that's what I did. I didn't tell anyone from work. I paid for it by myself. And I was working full time, so 40 hours a week, and then also going to school, which 3 days a week. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, it was from 6:30 to 9:30, about an hour away from where I was living. So I'd drive down there and then I'd drive home. I'd get home around like 11 o'clock, and then I'd get up like 5 hours later to get to work at 6. And then I also had class on the weekends for 4 hours. So it was like a 6-hour endeavor, including driving time. You know what? I was so extremely exhausted. Like sometimes I would forget to like brush my hair before I'd go to work. I looked very haggard, but I was so driven by the idea that I was creating something for myself and my own path and doing right by me, instead of like following along this trajectory of like, like you work a corporate job, you'll go to the next one, like continually like rise up in the ranks. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to like do meaningful work for myself or some other company with like a remote job and be able to travel. So though I was so tired, I actually like the lack of time let me just focus. Like I would leave work and then I would just write code. Like that's really all I did. Just work the amount of time I had to, go home, take maybe a 15-minute nap, write code. And when that was done, I was super stoked because I did it. I had worked full time, went back to school, and, like really set myself up for a new career and new path. And, that's just incredible. Like taking control of the situation, recognizing what I didn't want, and then actually like bringing that to fruition and working very hard to get the thing done. So once I had finished with that, I really didn't have an end date at my other job. I knew that the time was coming that I would be finished, but I looked at my job as a like the thing that was funding my newest venture. So I didn't want to quit right away. You know, when you start freelancing, you need to like build up a client base and really get your bearings before you go all in. So my job was funding that. I was working for them, but also like working on this new thing that I was building that I would love way more. So while I was still working, I started collecting clients, like building my portfolio, getting an idea of what I wanted to work on and who I wanted to work on. I really love working with people who are just starting their business, and also like female entrepreneurs, because it's important. I think women need to feel empowered and encouragement to go on their own path. So that's what I started doing. I started working on that and then just saving a ton of money. So when you leave your job, you need to be able to assess your risk, your level of risk, and how much of a money cushion you need when you take a jump like that big. Just like cutting all things, like there's no more like this stability of a paycheck every 2 weeks. It's whenever I get the job done and I find new clients. So I just saved a ton of money. And then a day came and I just decided I was done. Like, I was going to quit. This is it. I'm like taking the leap. So when I quit, it's a huge thing to have all of your time. I owned all of my time at that point. And I, like the first 2 weeks after quitting, just kind of hung out, like relaxed. I was so tired anyways. I slept a lot and just kind of recentered myself and how I felt. So, once I started feeling better, I just started working really hard. And, it is challenging. There's a large learning curve. And there were some months where I barely made any money. It's terrifying. You get this crushing doubt, like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. Like, what am I doing? I was silly to do this in the first place. But that's all like part of the process and building a business. Some months you'll have like amazing income and some months maybe not. It just all really depends on what is going on for you and the clients that you have. And that's why you just need to be like smart with your money. Be prepared for those months. And if you have like money set aside and you have a bad month, it's not a big deal. There's always ups and downs, peaks and valleys. So, after learning more and working with more people, it's really been amazing how... That's my dog whining. She's really upset. Hey, it's okay. Anyway, after you start learning more about what you're doing and feeling more settled and competent in the area that you're jumping into, you can really start to make big moves. Like, I just love what I do. I love that I can work from anywhere and I can travel anywhere and like make my own schedule. Like if I want to be gone for a month doing whatever, like out in the backcountry in the mountains, I can do that. And it's amazing. And like the freedom that I have, it's like what I had always wanted. And like thinking back to like a year ago today, I could not have imagined being where I am today. So if anything, I just hope that this encourages you to follow your own path, even if you're met with resistance, to do the thing that is right for you. People will not understand what you're doing. They will not believe you. They will think you're silly. And even my family was terrified because I had like a nice comfortable salary at my corporate job. I had all these benefits, you know, like an espresso machine and a gym, but I like was terribly unhappy, and they thought I was bonkers. And now with like everything that I'm able to do, they are amazed and so proud of me. So, you know, just take resistance with a grain of salt and listen to your inner voice and your heart and what you should be doing, and you'll be on the right path and everything will work out. Everything will work out. So that is my hope for you, that you follow your path and your voice and keep striving. Yeah. So if you want, like, have any questions, put a comment below. I'd love to talk to you and share more of my story and hear your stories too, like of how you kind of persevered and started your own business. That's really important to me. Also, of course, if you like this, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, please. And I have a weekly newsletter, so, you know, the link below is for that as well. I send out weekly tips and share these videos and also plug my favorite free asset for your website for the week. So thank you for listening, and I will catch you next time. Bye.